Jimmy Garoppolo, is he getting traded? Is he not? 49ers got some people on the ground at the NFL Combine. What does it mean that Kyle Shanahan's not there? And yeah, Dame Dash said some interesting things. I want to get into all that and more right now. You know what it is, man. San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. Get in here, people. Let's go.
Intercepted. It is picked off by Eric Crocker over midfield. He'll run it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown.
Crop Talk TV podcast. Peace.
Welcome to another episode of the San Francisco 49ers Morning Show. I'm your host, former NFL and AFL defensive back, Eric Crocker, man. Y'all know what it is, man. You know what? We got to start labeling this show. Like, this is the people's show. All right, this is the show for the people, man. This show is for y'all. This show is for y'all to have y'all voice, so you feel heard. It's not about me. It's not about Selena. I wore this sweater last night on Locked On 49ers too. Make sure y'all listen to Locked On 49ers with myself and my co-host Brian Peacock. Man, and also Locked On NFL Draft with myself and Ryan Tracy. Listen to both of those on the Locked On Network. Shout out to the Locked On Network this morning. But I hope everybody's good, man. I hope everybody's blessed. I hope everybody's feeling good. I see the flames coming in. It looks like everybody's feeling good. Make sure that mental is on point. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of mentals on point, again, we're going to get into the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing, but I wanted to start, before we really dive deep into that, I wanted to start with Damon Dash. One of my coaches, Coach Rob, sometimes he be on here, man, and he sent me a text this morning, and I'm mad I just got it because it's Dame Dash on the Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp. All right, Dame Dash is on there. And y'all know, like, we've kind of gotten away from it, but we really be talking about some stuff deeper than just the 49ers a lot on here, right? Like, typically. Again, I've gotten away from it a little bit. But, I give y'all updates on everything that, has to do with my building. They're out there right now, still working on it, man. They're still working on my building. It was exciting to see them out there this morning, as well as yesterday. Can't wait for the building to go up and everything I got going on with that. But entrepreneurship and like what it means and what it is, and understanding that there's no guarantees. And I talk about it. Shannon Sharp, he said, man, I just got into being an entrepreneur and all that. And Dame Dash, first thing he said is, it's not easy. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. And I think part of it is having to, I don't want to say reinvent yourself, but having to continuously make yourself appealing, because there are no guarantees. I don't have a set paycheck. I don't have a set salary or a set amount that I'm going to make per month. I have to do anything and everything to put myself out there, put my name out there, whether people agree, disagree, whatever, but different ways to make myself appealing to people that might want to hear what I have going on, and different ways to do it. And listening to Dame Dash just now, and it's like, Dame, I get you, because I understand where my mind is. When I first got into, I don't even want to say when I first got into entrepreneurship, but the thought of it, right? And I think maybe I brought this up before, but it was LeVar Ball, out of all people. I'm listening to LeVar Ball. All right, at this time, I'm working at this elementary school. I'm training athletes right after it. And, I'm working at the school. I'm training athletes, and I'm going all day, and I'm just figuring it. I'm trying to figure it out. And I listen to LeVar Ball, and LeVar, he's like, talking about creating his own way and not getting with Nike and not getting with Adidas. And there are a lot of people, in just maybe the way he came off, but there are a lot of people he rubbed the wrong way or whatever. And I think more so than anything, he rubbed people the wrong way because he's a strong man. He's a strong man. And I don't mean a strong man in the sense of, like, physically. I mean a strong man with his mind and understanding what it was that he wanted to do, the thought process behind it. And it that scares people when someone has that strong mindset, when someone has that, like, I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna will this into reality, I'm not gonna take no for an answer. All right. I'm gonna give everything I got, whatever it is. And people are gonna disagree. And I think a lot of times people push back on things that they truly don't understand. And it's easy to do that. It's easy to be scared of the unknown. And when I moved out here to Arkansas, it was supposed to be me, coaching at the university. I went there. I was team captain. I went off. I played pro football. And for whatever reason, it didn't work out. I mean, I didn't even have that opportunity. And I can't tell you why. I don't know why. To this day, I haven't gotten the answers. I haven't even seeked the answers because the answer, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is at the end of the day, Croc, you got to figure it out. I was working at this furniture store. I had a little money put up before moving out here. And I said, I'm going all in. I'm going all in. Regardless of how anybody might look at me or feel about me or believe in me. My wife thought I was crazy. My wife thought I was crazy. Crap, Eric, we don't have a lot of money in the account right now. Like, you're just gonna quit that and just do something with so much unknown? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I got nothing. I'm gonna figure it out. And I feel like a lot of us are scared to kind of back ourselves into a corner. I think a lot of us are scared of the unknown. And I'm not afraid of it. I feel like anytime, I've had my back to the wall is when I do my best work. I don't do well when I have complacency setting in. And I've been there before. Not complacency in the sense of, oh, I'm just happy, but just kind of contentment, I guess. Just okay, this is cool. I do this right now, whatever. But LeVar Ball, as soon as I'm listening to him, and when it clicked in my head, I made a business plan. And I made a business plan to one day own my own athletic training facility. And the business plan was very detailed. It was nice. It was good. It was clean. If anyone wants to look at it, I'll email it to you. And it was for where I was from, Stockton, California. But 5 years later, and this is what happens kind of when you stay down, 10 toes down, as they like to say. And you believe in the plan, when you believe in it, people will believe in you. And that's one thing that I've noticed as well. When people feel that passion with what it is that you believe in, they're willing to get behind that. And right now, I'm building this athletic training facility, and there's nothing but God and determination. God and determination. I see my guy, was it Derek 49er Holmes? Hey, D Holmes, man. Yeah, DM me on Twitter or Instagram. Type in Eric Crocker, you know what I'm saying? And I'll send you a copy of my business plan. All right, but I'm listening to Dame Dash and some of the things that he aspires to do. And Shannon Sharp asked him, like, what is that clothing? What is that clothing that you're wearing? And he's like I made this. Dame Dash, I made this. Like, I designed this. I designed my shirt. I designed my shorts. I designed my socks. And his reasoning behind that was, some years ago, he was talking to somebody, I forget exactly who he says, Ralph Lauren or somebody like that. And he's wearing that person's clothes, and he never wanted to feel like that again. And I get it. Y'all see me, like, what do I wear? I wear my homie stuff. I talk about it all the time on here. I mean, this is a Walmart hoodie, but I wear my homie stuff. Like, my homies that got clothing brands, like, that's what I purchase. That's what I buy. My homie dropped something, and eventually it's going to be my stuff. And one day I aspire to have my own clothing line, because I dress very simple. But if I'm going to dress simple, I'm going to dress simple, marketing myself, wearing my own stuff. And that will be all you see me wear. I'm not paying for Gucci, Louis. Now, I'm not knocking anybody that does that stuff. It's just not me. I see some of y'all talking about LeVar Ball in the chat. And, you get comments like this, LiAngelo is terrible. And it's like, no, he's not. LiAngelo has played. He's been on a pro roster, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the G League, whatever it is. Like he's had those opportunities. I saw somebody say Lonzo Ball is a bust. How? Didn't Lonzo Ball just get paid by Chicago? What's Lonzo Ball's contract with Chicago? Hold on, I'm gonna tell you right now. Lonzo Ball. Hold on. $80 million. Lonzo just got $80 million, and he's a bust. What are we doing? 80 million? Come on, man. No, for a number 2 pick, he's a bust. No, listen. If he were a quote unquote bust, he wouldn't be in the league right now. Or if you say, you know what, maybe he's not balling to the standards of maybe a number 2 pick. I get what you're saying from that standpoint, but that does not mean he's a bust. He just got a second contract, and we talking about $80 million. Like, come on. I don't care if NBA gives away money or not. He just got paid $80 million. How can you be a bust making $80 million? And his father, I feel like, instilled a certain level of determination into his kids and a certain mindset. And I think when you see the success, and that is success, when you have 3 boys and all 3 touch the NBA, and Melo's going crazy right now. He's like the best young player in the league. Like, that is success. That's success. And I don't think it's anything but it's the mindset. It's the mindset that LeVar Ball has and what he instilled in his kids, and hopefully what he instilled in a community of people. Understanding you have the mindset to do whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that you want to do. So, I kind of want to come on here. Dame Dash, he talked about getting into the NFL and how can you be you can't get black owners in the NFL. He talked about potentially wanting to be an owner and getting with a group. They can't do it. All the owners are white, except for like Shah Khan or whatever his name is. But what Dame Dash do? He pivoted. Okay, I can't get in here, right? Eric Crocker, what I do? I pivot. Okay, y'all don't want. Okay, I can't get in here. All right, I'm gonna figure out a way. And I love what Dame Dash did. He said, all right, so I went into the arena football league. Now it's not the arena league I played in, some lower level, but 6 teams, all black owners, all black coaches, teaching financial and economic literacy. Wants to own a league and to teach these guys about entrepreneurship and different things, and not just about making it to the league. How can I set you up for success outside of this? And wants to implement that structure into his arena league. I thought that was amazing. Because for a lot of us, me included, like, it's a lifelong dream to make it to the NFL, and then it's gone. Then what do you do? What do you do? What does Eric Crocker do? Okay, maybe something that they taught me in school. I went to school to be a teacher. All right, maybe I'll go and be a teacher. My passion has always been working with kids, and that's why I have my facility. And but now I could say between the months of January and February, I made more money in January and February doing things that I love doing and I'm very passionate about than I would in an entire school year. Starting off. And I'm just getting started. But anyways, we didn't come to talk about all that, man. We wanted to come on here, talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, trade talks, and where are they? All right. There reports came out that Kyle Shanahan will not be in attendance at the combine. And I started to see a lot of people kind of comment on that and say, oh, well, how are you supposed to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo being traded if you're not there, Kyle Shanahan? Well, the thing about, hold on, I don't know if somebody's saying be humble to me, but I'm okay. Hold on, restart. Be humble. What does it mean? What does it mean to be humble? Does it mean to be thankful for everything that you have Does it mean to be thankful for everything that you worked hard for? Does it mean to give all your thanks to God and the people that have been in your corner along the way? If that's being humble, then I'm 100% humble because I walk with the Lord on this, and I've always prayed for guidance. I've always prayed for guidance. But if you're saying be humble in the sense of, hey, you're making some money, don't talk about that. I talk about things to hopefully motivate someone else to get up and get it because I was you. Y'all don't, maybe not even you, but I remember being 18 years old, dropping out of junior college, 19 years old, having a son, 19, 20 years old, robbing stores, working random jobs, Walmart, Babies R Us, warehouse. I did all that. You know what I'm saying? And just when my best friend got out of jail, he was like, man, E, we should be playing football or something. I was 21 years old, going back to junior college, Modesto Junior College. And I worked, I worked my ass off, and it took a certain level of arrogance to get back in the swing of things, of understanding like I can do whatever it is I put my mind to. Whatever it is I put my mind to. And I take that now. I feel like you have to have a certain level of of I don't even want to say cockiness, but confidence within yourself of knowing that you can do something. But I don't know, like humble. Again, if you're saying be humble in a sense of uh don't talk about your successes, then I'm not probably not the person you talk to because I want to talk about that. But everyone knows, and I just put out a video of talking about my failures. I am as open as possible as I can be with everything that I've done throughout my entire life. Wrong turns, right turns, different ways, mindset, all that. So I don't know. I mean, I I take pride. I take pride in what I was doing because y'all know. And I understand that everything can be taken away from me. So if you're saying be humble with that, then okay, I get it. But I work my ass off so that doesn't happen. 2 years ago, I was working at an elementary school, training athletes and working overnight at 7-Eleven for $10 an hour, $12 an hour. Like I did that. I did that. Here we go. This is what humble means: to shut the fuck up, not being boastful, help others on a whole. What does it mean? What does it mean to shut the fuck up and not being boastful? Like what is that? What is I mean boasting? I get what you're saying in the sense of, is it being boastful because I said, and maybe you're not talking about me, maybe that's just your opinion of what humble and stuff is, but is it being boastful that I said, hey man, like if you believe in yourself, you can really do anything and you can climb out of any hole, and if you back yourself into a corner and believe and achieve those things, and even things that I wanted to do, like be a teacher, I make more money now in a couple months than I would have if I was a teacher. Is that being boastful, or is that saying that I'm on the right track to doing something that I strongly believe in? Because money doesn't buy you happiness or anything. It just means, you're doing something to provide for your family. Everything I do is to provide for my family. Everything. It's not even about me. That's the crazy thing. Nothing I do is about me. It's all about my family, my wife, my kids, taking care of them, making sure that, if my kids need something, I can do it. Because I remember when my kids needed something and I had to figure out a way to do it, whether it's the right way or the wrong way. And now I get to do something every day that I'm extremely passionate about and be able to take care of my family in that way. I mean, if that's boasting, then I don't know. Thanks for all you do, Croc. Trey's a real deal. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Some people don't like being put on game. They think you are bragging. Yeah. It's not. I talk about all this because I talk about all this because I hope that I can hopefully inspire someone else to like achieve their dreams and do the things that you aspire to do without having to feel like you have to succumb to some kind of system or something, or oh, this is all my life will ever be, because it's easy to get caught up down that road and do things that you're not happy. Like, how many of y'all in here right now, how many of y'all wake up and do something every day that you are extremely passionate about doing and you love doing? How many of y'all wake up and do that? Keep being a positive influence and establishing legacy in the face of those who want to see you fail because they aren't doing anything. God bless. I appreciate that. And I hope that that's not the case. I hope it's not, you know, I hope it's not people that, oh man, I don't want to see, this or that, or, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're going to talk about football, of course. But, sometimes we're going to talk about some real stuff because football, I mean, that's a small fraction of our lives. That's a small fraction of it. Of what y'all do on a daily basis, watching sports and things like that. But at some point, we got to go to reality. And what is your reality? Like, what's your reality? My reality was I wanted to I had a vision of having my own facility where I could teach kids about everything that it takes to be successful and whatever successful means to you. And maybe if working at Walmart is successful to you, then that's great. That's you. If you're able to provide for your family and you're happy with that, awesome. If you strive to go above and beyond that, then okay, let's figure out a way. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it. It's that you can do it. And I'm extremely passionate about sports and football, and I love it. And I love you all. I love you all in here, man. I love all y'all. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat right now. I know y'all came in here to talk about football. We're gonna get into it, but here we go. Does Kyle Shanahan not being at the combine mean that the 49ers aren't pursuing teams in hopes of trading Jimmy Garoppolo? I saw someone post that and they were like, see, Jimmy Garoppolo is staying with the 49ers. And maybe he is. Maybe he is. I'm not here to say that Garoppolo isn't or is or whatever. I get my opinion, and obviously I'll have y'all on to come on live on the chat and give your opinion as well. We'll hear each other out. If it's me, I'm thinking that it's going to be Jimmy gone. And how does that happen, right? If Kyle Shanahan's not at the combine, well, you got your GM there. You got your GM there. You got John Lynch there. You got the whole front office staff there. They are there to do the behind the scenes things. They are there to do the behind the scenes things on everything pertaining to the trade talk. Like, you don't need Kyle Shanahan there to talk to teams about Jimmy Garoppolo. One, they know who he is. They need to talk to Kyle Shanahan. John Lynch, and figure out how to make it happen. John, how do we make it happen? John, how do we trade for Garoppolo? What is it going to take? John Lynch knows all that. They don't need Kyle Shanahan for that. God puts you through trials and tribulations so that you can be the light when you break through. You are doing what is asked. God is good. Keep helping others. Man, I appreciate that, Jesse. I appreciate that. And I got to help you by watching that feature film, Baylor DB. Appreciate it, though, man. Here we go. Judging by Jimmy's last press conference, he's gone. Right. Now, that could be Jimmy Garoppolo's perspective on things and how he sees it. And maybe the 49ers say, you know what? Nah, we're gonna keep you. And Jimmy probably would be okay with probably frustrated with the situation because it's like, well, is there any long-term commitment? Are you gonna re-sign me? Or are you gonna extend my contract? Probably not. So if I'm Jimmy Garoppolo, I would much rather be somewhere else. That's going to give him more long-term security. And I think the conversations with that trade start at the combine, whether Kyle Shanahan is there or not. A lot of that probably has to do with, John Lynch and him figuring out, hey, what is his value going to be? And what do y'all think his value is. We talked about a little bit of that on Locked On 49ers with myself, Brian Peacock, and we'll get into a little bit more of that. I was actually, we had a fun debate last night. I was John Lynch, and he was the owner slash coach of a team. We're going to get, I'm going to let y'all listen to that episode. It was a fun episode that dropped this morning. But you know what, man? I've talked enough today, almost 30 minutes of not really getting into the whole Jimmy Garoppolo thing. But I'm going to give y'all the link here. Come on live right now and let's talk about it. Whatever it is that you want to talk about. Y'all know sometimes I'll open up the door for whatever it is. So you want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo? You want to talk about John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan? You want to talk about entrepreneur endeavors that you might have? Come on, talk about all of that. I see some people think 2 fourth rounders for Jimmy. 2 fourth rounders. I feel like Jimmy's worth more than 2 fourths. How much more? I don't know. We'll see if my guy Gammon, what does he think? Gammon, is Jimmy worth more than 2 fourths? What do you think?
Yes, and absolutely yes. I think that and it's so funny with Jimmy, right? The biggest thing with Jimmy is that he's just such a paradigm of just wide emotions to the left or to the right. But what Jimmy is that he's in the teens type quarterback, right? He's above your top 20, but he's probably somewhere around 19, somewhere around 15. And there's not a lot of discernible data between him and a lot of quarterbacks. I think another thing too that a lot of people are, I want to say, kind of glossing over, not necessarily overlooking, but glossing over, is that Jimmy, yes, down the stretch, the defense had to pretty much do everything. Debo had to put the weight of the shoulders on his back. But, you know, his throwing hand, his grip, the grip on the ball requires surgery right now, right? He can't get it. And Croc, just so that way I know, and I can get clarity that I know that I'm talking to somebody who is very, you know, hey, I take it game to game. This is kind of how I see it. But how would you rate Jimmy's first 5 games of the season versus his last 5 games? Because I actually think he played really, now of course on a Jimmy rubric, but I thought he actually played pretty well the first 5 games of the season. For him,
on here. Yeah, I was on here, and one of the conversations I was having was that he was not the reason the 49ers were losing games. And I think, what was it? What else? The point that I was making, I remember the 49ers were sitting at 2-4 and 3-5. And I was actually saying, you need to play Trey Lance because maybe the team isn't good, because I don't think that Jimmy is necessarily he's why we're losing. So if he's not why you're losing, but you're still losing games, then you go with the rookie because at least give him that experience, and maybe it's the team around him. Now, clearly the 49ers turned it around. I think one thing they started doing was, one, controlling the ball better. They stopped turning the ball over at a high rate during that 3-game winning streak. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers offense ran the ball more. Remember, they started handing off 40 times. But, yeah, I think some of those games, I see the Arizona game, he wasn't the reason the 49ers lost. Outside reasons or for whatever that was. So, yeah, I get what you're saying in the sense of him playing fairly well early on.
And the other thing, too, that we have to remember is that it's not just John Lynch, Adam Peters picking up the phone and calling another team, right? When the 49ers said they want what's best for Jimmy Garoppolo, they meant that in all cases of the word, because they know that if Jimmy Garoppolo gets doubled over, they know that he will, he's going to let his teammates know and everything else. And his agents, just like DeForest Buckner, kind of worked out a trade. DeForest Buckner's agents and representation worked out a trade. Now I know completely different level. Okay, a lot higher demand for Buck, right? Where the demand was a round one for Buck. I've said it week in, week out, but I think there's still a demand for Jimmy Garoppolo because quarterbacks are in demand. There's going to be every single year there's 6 or 7 quarterbacks drafted. And some of them are lucky to just end up on the practice squad. We have to take into account that there is a market for quarterbacks. he is a third round, trade asset, because you can get that just from letting him sign next year. And the other thing too is he's only 30 years old, folks. Like he's only 30. I mean, there's other quarterbacks that are getting paid more money than him right now. So when Adam Schefter said his contract's really not that bad, everyone's like, whoa, he's getting paid 25, 26 million. Yes, but whatever team takes him on, it's already going to be pre-negotiated. That's what's going to be happening right now at the combine, right? Tampering season. This is what happens. These deals get pre-negotiated out when they're there, just not there legally. And what's really going to happen is that the agents and the ownership and the teams, they're going to work his contract down. You can be like, hey, look, you've got a contract. You've got a top 17, 18 quarterback on average. Some nights better, some nights worse. But he's going to be on and I think you're going to see his numbers get adjusted. More of a bonus, upfront bonus. I could see the 49ers taking on some of that bonus cost. And freeing up some money that way. But yeah, 2 4th rounds. I'm sorry, that's you get more just by keeping him on another year and then letting him sign with another team for a comp pick. He's going to get more than it's the most valuable position. Yes, it's not the same tier as Buck, but it's a position of need. And Croc, I think your mantra that you've been pushing this entire time has been like, hey, there are teams right now, there are head coaches, GMs, where if they don't get it together, both of them are out. And for 49ers fans, where this bell should ring true is when you remember early in the season when everyone was thinking about, hey, we should get rid of our TED Talk of a GM, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan needs to get fired. But I don't think that's the case. And another thing, too, I want to say about – go ahead, Croc.
Oh, no, I wasn't saying anything. Go ahead.
I was going to say I was going to say something about your humbleness, right? And I think here's my takeaway from it. If I win the lottery, right, I'm probably not going to tell people that I hit the lottery just because people are so negative when something good happens to me or people are going to bring me down, right? But if I come into some money or I'm actually doing something really good and I found my calling, my path for the rest of my life, I want to be excited about that. I want to share that with people. And I want to thank everybody who was a part of my success. And I think that that's really what you're doing, Croc, is you're not waving anything in front of anybody's faces. And in fact, I want you to succeed. I'm hoping soon, you're doing some things on the Pat McAfee show, kind of getting more out there, like what I see Haberman and Middlecoff kind of doing. But, that's why I'm a big fan. I mean, I saw you kind of working out of a garage, standing up everything, and just the amount of go that you have is remarkable. And that's the thing is you really have to ask yourself, if you're upset about another man's success, right, you probably need better friends in your life, because you need friends doing better who are going to bring you up. And we don't have a lot of role models like you, Croc, and especially in 2009, right, Stockton, don't. Right. So, and I don't think you're waving in front of people's faces either. And another thing too, I want to bring up real quick, because this has kind of bothered me too, and I've been seeing in the comments, but I know there's internet trolls there, and this is less than 10% of your fan base, Croc. But people get so upset that Croc doesn't go tooth and nail or eye for an eye with Grant Cohn. And the thing is that that's not how you. I want to talk about. We talk about humbleness, but I want to talk about class right now. And one of the big things, and I learned this. And I'm 37, but I got a real quick dose of professionalism and class when we had a couple Green Bay Packers that are their figureheads, just like similar to your status, come on here, Locked On Packers, that sort of thing, and their eye rolls, reactions, and instead of you, like for me, they got money out of my pocket and I was spending it, but you took it and then you were like, you know what? They're here on my show, so I can probe, ask them questions, get information. And their I don't want to say lack of class or lack of professionalism, all that, but I'm not going to let that take away from me, who I am, and the goals that I'm trying to reach. And if you see Croc doing that on his own show, and we're all upset, you can't. If you're a big fan of Croc, you don't want to see him go out there and then get trolled by a troll. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Like they're going like, why did you fall for it, Croc? Why? You know what I mean? You knew it, and so I think that's a bigger testament, your mental agility to really hop into any type of discourse and kind of get in there. And lastly, Croc, what I do want to say is really from the bottom of my heart is thank you. A lot of my friends, there might be some coworkers that are watching me right now, and they're probably really surprised. I don't like talking in front of people. If you notice, I don't even make a lot of eye contact with the camera, but this has really given me ability to, if anybody can, if you take a look at the first time I came on here, I'm still rough right now. I don't understand how you can think and talk and read and then have a counterpoint. I can't do all that. That's just like, holy cow, there's not enough coffee and anything else for that to happen. But this has really helped me, I think, improve, just professionally too, and everything. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm getting all mushy. You did this, Croc. But
all good. I appreciate the love.
Thank you.
All right, Gammon. Shout out to my guy Gammon. He pretty much calls in almost daily. I appreciate when he comes on and brings a different perspective, even if sometimes it differs from mine. Jimmy's first 5 games, I only remember him playing well. Detroit and Green Bay game, right? When we say Jimmy played well, I think it's well enough to win. That's how I look at it. Now, the Eagles game, I saw somebody, Croc, you were at the Eagles game. I was. And it was frustrating. And it was pretty tough to watch live. You see the 49ers and the offense that they have and the 3 straight 3-and-outs. And I mean, you don't really get anything going until right before the half. And it was frustrating. It had me thinking like, damn, Philly got a monster defense. And come to find out they didn't, because like a week or 2 later, Cowboys put like 40 on them. All right. So, yeah, that was frustrating. And I think for Jimmy Garoppolo, and he's a starting level quarterback. He isn't very dynamic, and he's not an explosive passer. And he's kind of this game manager, but in his mind, he's a gunslinger. And those two things, they don't work very well with him. But at the end of the day, you can win games with him. Like you can be a quarterback and you win. Like I feel like Washington is better off with him than Taylor Heineke. Now, how much is that saying? Like, is that saying anything good? I don't know. But I think if you are a team like the Commanders or any of these other teams that aspire to win right now, I think they'll see a little bit more value in Jimmy Garoppolo than the casual fan. Here we go. Welcome to the show, my guy Kent. Kent, good morning. How you doing? Kent, you on? I don't think we can hear you. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're good. You're muted. Let's see if I can unmute you. I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself, Kent.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
My first time calling.
Oh, no problem, man. I appreciate you coming on.
I've been watching you for at least a year, but never called in. Don't know how to do any of this stuff, right? Just got off work. Catching you on here. I love your show. Inspirational, very much so. Earlier, I just, I'm just love listening to your show. But what do you really think about Trey? Do you think he's ready for this year?
All right, here's my honest to God truth on Trey Lance.
Because I'm excited, but let me hear you.
I am excited at the potential, and I think a lot of times with draft picks, right? Like that's what drives us, just what this guy can be. And a lot of times as rookies, I watch games to see if this guy has the potential to reach, whatever expectations I have for him. And, depending on the round that you're drafted in, the expectations are a lot different. So obviously, if you're picked number 3 overall, the expectations are much different. Like somebody earlier said, Lonzo Ball's a bust, right? I think the expectation for Lonzo Ball going number 2 overall, and maybe what he is right now, which is he's a solid basketball player, but maybe not to the standards of number 2. But I think when you do look at Trey Lance, especially as rookie, and you're trying to figure out what is this guy going to be. To me, I think he's shown that he's heading in the right direction. Right now, if anybody was expecting a rookie to come in and then his first 2 starts look like, I don't know, Patrick Mahomes year 2 where he won the MVP, you're probably not going to get that, and you're going to be very disappointed. But in the sense of Trey Lance coming in, showing some high moments, showing some rough moments, coming in against Seattle, looking a little uneasy, playing against Arizona, having some moments where you see the big time ability as well as the downs, and then watching them against Houston and seeing things start to come together and be more accurate and throw with better timing, still miss some or overlook some throws that were there, bypass to make plays on the move, also make throws down the field. You just start to see, I can see why they like him. I think that this is definitely heading in the right direction. Now it's just, okay, can we get him to be more consistent? And I think that'll come with an offseason understanding things that he needs to improve on, an offseason of having first-team reps. And I do believe that eventually he can be the guy that the 49er fan base wants him to be, a top 5 talented quarterback or top 8 quarterback in the NFL. I believe he can do that. But, it's going to be a lot of hard work, and I think that should be the case for anybody coming out. But I am encouraged by what I saw last season, especially come Houston, where you just start to see it coming together with him. What are your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say, if Trey were to come out this year, damn well he'd be the first pick, or at least the first quarterback off the board. Right. So that's a guarantee, because this quarterback class is weak. But I just feel like, is it Kyle or is it the GM who is more hesitant on giving him the keys to this establishment here? There's somebody holding him back, but I don't know if it's Kyle or not. I don't know. And if it is Kyle,
here's the tough thing. I think part of it is Kyle, because I think Kyle likes things done a very, very, very specific way.
I know. I get it.
And if you aren't going to do things exactly how he wants you to do them, I think he's hesitant to have you out there until you can figure out how to do it to that standard, to that level.
It's like a machine.
RG3. Remember, RG3 had a phenomenal rookie year. He was rookie of the year over Andrew Luck. They went to the playoffs. He did not like RG3.
Yes, I know.
If it were up to him, he probably would have played Kirk Cousins over RG3, even though RG3 had the level of success that he had. Same thing, and we talked about yesterday with Brandon Ayuk, right? He did not want to play Brandon Ayuk his rookie year, but had to because, Debo was hurt. Other guys were in and out of the lineup. Who else do I have? Oh, I got to play this guy. And Ayuk played very well. And then now you have Trey Lance, who I believe Trey Lance can do phenomenal things with Kyle. But it might not be exactly how Kyle wants it. So until he gets to that point, it's going to be hard for Kyle to go all in, just because that's just how Kyle is. Now, I talked about him potentially taking a page out of Andy Reid's book, right? Or, Andy Reid is to say you get Patrick Mahomes. And I can tell you, I watched Patrick Mahomes early on. It was spotty. You watch Patrick Mahomes in his first start as a rookie. You watch him in his first start as a rookie. It was spotty. It wasn't like great. I think a lot of people forget that. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure Andy Reid had to let go a little bit. He had to, let me loosen up the reins a little bit on this kid and let him go out there and do him. And I think once Andy Reid kind of bought into that and letting Mahomes beat him, he started to have more success. Now, can he possibly bring him back in a little bit? Yeah, you watched the AFC Championship game where Mahomes is trying to freestyle everything and he's running around and he's doing all this. And he's like, dude, you're not Doug Flutie. You can play within the context of the offense. So you got to figure out how much you can or can't do with it. But I just say all that to say, I think Kyle, he has a track record of wanting to micromanage every little thing, when sometimes, hey man, let these people be successful and do things how they do. And let's see how it plays out.
Don't be afraid of
Right.
change.
He's
I know
afraid of
it's
the
going to be
unknown.
different. I know it's going to be different. It won't be the exact, but don't be afraid of change. That's the one thing
Yep,
that'll hold you back. If you're
for
trying to
sure.
keep the exact system when Jimmy was there, it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Right. And they're different quarterbacks.
Exactly.
But I do think this. I think what Kyle saw from Trey Lance in college shows him that this guy has the ability to play the way I want him to do it.
I would hope
He just
so.
has to get to that point.
I would hope so. Listen, Craig, I know you got plenty of people waiting. I love you, and I'm going to keep listening to you as always, okay? And
All
I
right, man. I
love you,
appreciate the
man.
love. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you for listening to my jargon for a minute.
Oh, no, you're good. Come on
Uh,
anytime.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir.
All right. Here we go. I got Medic Mike on. Medic Mike, man. Good morning. How you doing, bro?
Good morning, Croc. How you feeling, baby?
Oh, man, I'm blessed. Can't complain.
Good to hear. Good to hear. I want to put football on hold for a minute, but I want to address, what we were talking about earlier. And a lot of the things you're doing, it's needed. It's not just you even being proud of yourself. It's needed. Like people need to hear these things. I'm a paramedic in Oakland, in Alameda County. I work a lot in Oakland, California. I see a lot of broken families. I see a lot of kids who don't have a chance, whether their parents are absent, on drugs, whatever it is, victims of violence. And you being transparent with your failures and then where you come to now, that's important. It's very important. I listened to your video, how you lied your way onto the Jets. That was entertaining. That was a good
Yeah.
one. But this stuff it's very important, and I point as many people as I can, especially young kids, to your videos because it's like, look where this kid from the 209 came from. Look at the mistakes he made, and now look at where he's at now. Look at he has this beautiful family. He has this facility he's building. He's doing all the things he wanted to because he learned from his mistakes and he rose above them. And I think it's important because you don't make excuses. You're accountable. Accountability and responsibility is one of the biggest things. If you make a mistake, that's all right. When it's not all right is if you don't learn from it. If you keep doing the same thing over and you keep making excuses. So I just want to give you a shout out. And, we always want to give people, their flowers when it's too late. I want to give you your flowers right now. You're doing great. I appreciate everything you're doing, man. And this stuff needs to be heard. It's not arrogance. It's not boasting. I mean, you're living your truth. That's what you're doing. And so I feel passionate about it, man. I got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at the house now. So I got 2 little babies running around. I have my own business. I'm a gun safety instructor as well. I'm passionate about that, trying to get more of our people to realize, hey, take advantage of your Second Amendment. It's crazy out here. But it's important the things you're saying, man. And I appreciate you, Croc. And I appreciate, all your stories. Anytime you're candid with us, it's much appreciated. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate it, big dog. Thank you. And appreciate everything that you're doing. I mean, as a first responder, I have a homie that was that did a lot of firefighting. And he was telling me, I'm saying he sees some wild stuff. And I know for you to be one of the guys that are kind of first on the scene to see that, I know that I can't even start to understand kind of what that could potentially do to somebody, mentally. So, it takes a strong person to be able to go through that and see those type of things, man, and still be able to hold it together for real.
Yeah, I'm not scared to say I've talked to people. I've actually talked to a therapist before. I mean, I've, in the Bay Area, I've actually seen, I mean, sucks to say, sorry to get morbid, I've seen Black person hanging from a tree, in Alameda County. Like, that ain't a pretty sight. And you see a lot more than that. You see a lot of stuff. It's all about having that healthy outlet, and you have to be comfortable with yourself, and you have to know yourself and how to healthily really kind of try to get away from that energy and dispel that energy. But yeah, you do see a lot. So, but that's why I appreciate coming on here, man. This is one of my outlets. I love it.
Yeah, that's dope. What do you think about the whole Jimmy Garoppolo non-trade talks or trade talks in at the combine? Do you think that it will go down? Do you think they won't have those conversations with these teams? What are you thinking?
I think preliminary conversations will be had. I do think there's certain dominoes. I think the Watson, Rodgers, and Wilson domino, a lot of people are waiting to see not necessarily if something actually gets done, but until they have a little more certainty. I think there's a lot of uncertainty around those situations. And obviously, I think Jimmy falls in kind of that next tier. And so people are going to want the big fish. They're going to want to go after something big. Unless you're a coach that's looking for someone to kind of take over right now until you can draft and develop somebody. But I think preliminary conversations will be had. But I don't think it'll be anything serious. Like, I don't think anyone will be offering up a second for him. I think the highest you would get is a next year second. This year, I could see maybe like a third and a fifth, a third and a sixth, or something like that. But I think it'll just be preliminary conversations and just kind of setting the stage for him. Maybe bring back to his agent, yo, we got this offer from these places. Like, which one does he prefer out of these?
Right. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, Medic Mike. I'm gonna get to my guy Terradome now.
I appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
You too, man.
Here we go. Got my guy Eddie. He says, man, the light you have in you isn't yours to keep. Oh, I like that line. I might have to put that as a caption on Instagram. All right, appreciate the love, Eddie. Here we go. A couple on now, man. I got my guy Terradome.
What it is, Crocky. How you doing this morning?
Hey, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing well. I hear them talking about humble. And did you mention you're an educator or you work with young men and women, particularly minorities?
Yeah, so I created my business plan. I think me working in, as an educator in the school district, I saw what a lot of kids kind of needed. And it was very clear to me that kids didn't really have a positive influence to look up to. And I remember me growing up, I love football, watch football. So, I would look up to the people on TV, whether it was Deion Sanders, high stepping. So I try to do that. Merton Hanks doing the little chicken dance. If you can go back in time and get a camera on me at recess, you'd see me doing the Merton Hanks dance after an interception at recess time.
I was doing it as a grown man.
Nowadays, right. A lot of kids nowadays, they don't really have that person of positive influence, especially in some of the neighborhoods I was working in. So, I started thinking like, well, I can't help every kid, but maybe I can do something through sports and kind of help in that way. So that's why I started my athletic training facility and hoping to inspire kids in that way. We've taken kids to universities and, meeting coaches, being in locker rooms, things like that. So they could show that, so you could show them that they too could be do things bigger and better. Because when I was coming up, I wasn't like this special football player on the field, and nobody really told me that I can go to college. So I try to kind of help kids in that way, and use my experiences as I guess a sort of resource.
Well, Crocky, I mentioned that to reiterate the point because humble is an acronym. I'm down here at Fort Bragg. I'm a former cavalry soldier and airborne. It's an acronym that we have called Helping Unstoppable Minorities Become Leaders in Education. You've already been doing that, young man. Now let me go to the Bible on them. For those of those who might be missing something, it's in 1 Peter 5:6. It says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, and he will exalt you in due time. I hear you keep mentioning the Lord in which you're talking about. And that time reference, see, God's time is due time. Whenever it's due for you, that's when your time is ready to come. So are we understanding one another? Are we seeing where we're supposed to be?
Yes, sir.
So let the little melee and let the little shrimps go where they need to go. You keep your eye on the prize and you keep moving, young man. You hear me? You're doing some wonderful things. You stay on it, all right?
Yes, sir.
Now let's get to Jimmy G. I want to talk defense, but we got to talk about Jimmy G.
Hold on, what do you want to talk about with the defense, though?
I love defense. I talk defense all the time, but I know everybody likes to talk about offense, and it's always gonna get to Jimmy G. I'm a defensive guy. They always got the better girls. They always, the offensive guys always, But I looked at the quarterback rankings last year, and they ranked them on NFL.com. Jimmy G fell in between Carson Wentz and famous Jameis Winston at the rank of 20. Now, what we have to do here is get ourselves out of our feelings, out of our emotion, as another Virginia man says up in Pittsburgh, the great Mike Tomlin. Let's use gray, faceless people here. Just put it on the uniform. We're gonna take the SF off. We're gonna take the red off. We gotta look at what Jimmy G is here. And if you fell in between, how would you be as another team out in the NFL? What would you give up for Carson Wentz and famous Jameis Winston? That's
Not much.
That's kind of what you're looking at. That's what it is, and that's how it is. That's totally objective, and that's it by itself. Now you add on the fact that everybody kind of know, man, and we have friends who are not 49ers fans, and we try to help them and we pray for them, amen. But I got my cousins who they Redskin fans. I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and they love them Redskins up there. I got Pittsburgh fans, I got Cowboy fans, I got people who need a quarterback. Crockett, they not knocking their door down for Jimmy G. They know what Jimmy G is.
Do you think the organizations might value what Jimmy Garoppolo brings more so than the fans? Because we're seeing that right now with the 49ers, right?
Yes.
If you talk to the players, you know, the coaches and how they feel about Jimmy Garoppolo, I believe they have a much higher appreciation for Garoppolo and what he brings than the players. So do you think that maybe other front office guys, execs, coaches might have a better appreciation for what he brings as opposed to a Jameis Winston who is, you know, a little funny, or Carson Wentz who has, you know, they've been saying that he doesn't get along well with teammates and he's all about him. Garoppolo seems to be the opposite, and it's that little opposite that helps him, you know, be a part of a team that is winning more games. Do you think that could be the case? So I think that's how, because we look at it as fans, and I know how the 49 fans feel about Jimmy Garoppolo. You talk to any other fans out there, they do not want Jimmy. They'd rather go with any and every other quarterback. And I don't know why.
Mitchell Trubisky. They'd rather get Mitchell Trubisky than Jimmy. And I've got to think that.
But are the coaches and the front office guys, do they feel that way about Jimmy? And that's the biggest thing and what matters most.
They simply have to, because people would be beating our door down. They would have been beating our door down at the mere implication that Jimmy was leaving. They were offering up a first. If Deshaun Watson didn't have his legal trouble, and I'm praying for my brother Deshaun. He used to be down here at Clemson. But how much was Houston ready to give up? I mean, what would it take to get Deshaun Watson to you? They would talk about what 2, 3.
I mean, they were saying multiple first-round picks.
Is Jimmy demanding that?
No, not at all.
It is what it is, Croc. He maybe a second, maybe a third. And what we're trying to do is put salesperson's calls it. Put some lipstick on this pig. Look, he's got all these wins, and you know the guys like him. And they tried to raise the trade value, and he's been to multiple NFC championships. And they see the game. They know that Jimmy G had one of the best play designers in the game, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pro Bowlers on his offense, and you still were 20 behind Carson Wentz and just in front of Jameis Winston. We don't have 6 Pro Bowlers on our offense. They know that Jimmy, either you're a tractor or you're a trailer. Either you're pulling the load or the load is pulling you. And you're not going to get teams to, you know, buy your 90 Saab with their transmission blown. It is what it is. And that should be even more of a case bolstering the fact that please put Trey Lance in and let's give him the shot to
Trey
drive this
Lance, he's
Ferrari.
gonna have his time. Trey's gonna have his time. Jimmy's not. But I think right now it's the discussion around Jimmy Garoppolo, what his worth is, and if they can get him off. So just looking at it from that standpoint again, I keep coming back to the Commanders because I just think it makes the most sense when you look at this situation as a whole. Ron Rivera, third year of his contract, like the pressure is on him to win, and if Rivera doesn't win right now, he likely would never get another head coaching job or opportunity. All right. So he's looking at like, can I put a team around Jimmy Garoppolo to win football games and potentially go to the playoffs? And then, hell, we'll figure out the rest of it after that. And I think the answer to that is yes, because the 49ers showed you can do it. At least you can have the confidence in saying that you can do it. You know what I'm saying?
You better
Jimmy
you better have,
in stretches.
You better have Usain Bolt on your track team.
Well, they got Terry McLaurin. I like their running back Gibson. They got some guys that catch the ball at the backfield like McKissick, if he's still there. I do think they need another pass catcher, but they have a terrific defense if they could just move the ball offensively. I think they're right there on the cusp. They play in a division that is not nearly as difficult as the 49ers division with the Rams, with the Seahawks, with the Cardinals, which is much more challenging. I think you plug him into the NFC East. I think it's things to look up if he's with Commanders. I think another team that makes sense is probably Pittsburgh. A lot of people are talking about that. Again, excuse me. If I'm these teams, I'm definitely looking into Deshaun Watson first. Jimmy is 2 tiers down from him. But if I can't get Watson, I do look at Jimmy Garoppolo in Pittsburgh as someone that can help. They want to lean on the run game. They got to get the O-line right. But a terrific running back, Najee Harris. I think they have multiple receivers that can make plays that you just give opportunities to. Deontay Johnson, one of the better young route running receivers in the NFL. You also have big-ass Chase Claypool. They have a defense that get after it, and they can't stop teams as long as the offense is moving. They went to the playoffs with Ben Roethlisberger, who's a shell of himself, and definitely is not as good as Jimmy. Now, again, offensive line issues there. See somebody in the comments. The Commanders, offensive line issues as well. Matter of fact, most NFL teams, offensive line issues. So those are things that teams are going to have to figure out how to fix, especially if you have a Jimmy Garoppolo, because he is more of a timing rhythm type thrower and not one to make plays off of the move. But
we had 3 Pro Bowlers on our offensive line: Lincoln Tomlinson, Alex Mack, Trent Williams. We had a Pro Bowl tight end, an All-Pro receiver, and a Pro Bowl fullback. And this is what we got, Jimmy G. It's no other team that's got the play caller or the personnel that can match, point for point what the 49ers have and just have it plug and play. They know it. He's going to take a step back. He's got to take a step back because they just simply don't have that. They don't.
I can see that.
And if they don't, you're not getting 3 first rounders for Jimmy. You're not getting a first rounder for Jimmy. At best, you'll get a second. And that's for somebody who something kind of catastrophic happened to their quarterback down, like, God forbid it happened. I don't wish any injury on anybody. Let's say something happened in Miami where, Tua got hurt. They would be under the gun. We got to make a deal to give them a second to get them there. Other than that, dude, they're waiting for what's Russell Wilson gonna do? We'll take our chances with this kid. We'll get Mitchell Trubisky. We'll get Carson Wentz is gonna come up. I'm hearing that Indianapolis doesn't want him anymore.
Right, they don't.
He's ranked a step higher than Jimmy G. He had less interceptions and just as many touchdowns. He had 5 more touchdowns than Jimmy G and less interceptions.
Yep. All right, Terry Dome, I'm going to get you off and get to the next caller, man. I appreciate you calling in today.
All right, salute.
All right, here we go. I do have a star tweet. I think, yeah, here we go from my guy, Kenneth Goldsmith. All right. Great, great comment here. Commanders don't have that or play calling. I think he's talking about the offensive line. I will say this. I think that I don't want to say people overvalue Kyle Shanahan as a play caller because he's viewed as like one of the top dogs. But I do think they kind of discredit other offensive coordinators in the sense of them not being able, it's like Kyle doesn't have the number one offense in the league. I don't think the 49ers have the number two offense in the league. I think they were top five, but there are good play callers around the league. Now, are they as good as with their run game schemes? Maybe Kyle doesn't have the number one offense because we got Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think they still did. Like 2019, they had like number one or two offense in the league. They did a terrific job. I think what Kyle where he excels is his run game schemes and the creativity within that. But there are other coaches who I think might have better passing game concepts than Kyle, because Kyle's stuff, and hopefully I'm not misspeaking, Kyle's stuff works off of the run game. His passing game works off the run game. Kyle doesn't have a great drop back system. Not saying he can't drop back and throw the ball, but that's not really where it works. Where other teams do, hey, maybe Jimmy Garoppolo would still succeed in an offense like that is more of a drop back, get the ball out your hands right now, shotgun, get the ball out your hands right now. Maybe he'd still do well in that type of offense. Is that what the Washington Commanders have? I'm not sure. But I do think sometimes I don't want to say overvalue Kyle as a play caller, but I think we discredit other play callers around the NFL a little bit as it pertains to Kyle. It's like people elevate Kyle and it's like, oh, well, Kyle does this and that, like the other coaches and play callers in the NFL, like they suck or something. Here we go. Coming on now, I got my guy, Chris. Chris, good morning. Chris, how you doing?
What's up, Croc? How's it going?
Oh, man, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
I enjoyed that last caller. Well, the beginning of the last caller. Yeah, man, you should have let him preach, bro. Tell him forget football.
I did let him preach.
No, I wanted to hear him preach, not talk football, just preach. He was talking good to
you,
like man.
Church.
Yeah, he was preaching. He was talking some good stuff. But, Croc, I really ain't have much to say. I just wanted to come on here and give you a shout out. Since, everybody give me your roses, I might as well give you your roses too.
But we talk every day.
I know this, bro. I mean, I could give you roses, where nobody's watching, but sometimes people need to see, folks give you your roses. So shout out to you, brother. You are a positive Black man in America. We need more people like you in the media. As you know how media shows Black people for the most part in a negative light. It's people like you that we need on the forefront showing what it is to being a positive Black man in this country, being a positive role model. We need more Black role models in the spotlight. And as you continue to grow, more people will watch, more people will see, more people will be able to judge other people off of what they see in you, because a lot of times in the media they'll see a certain type of person in the media and judge us off of that. So as you continue to get more fame, more TV time, because deals are probably coming down the line. So as you continue to get more into that, more people will see like, man, this is what we need to be seeing more, and this is what they need to be highlighting more. And so, Croc, just keep up doing a great work. You are probably the most logical football head on here, where you are the bridge between the fans and the players. That's what
I try to be. I try to bring that perspective, because remember I had somebody on Twitter say some weird things, right? And he was like, "You and Dan Orlowski and Acho and Croc, whatever." And my thing has always been, man, like I just try to bring some perspective. I don't even feel like I'm like a hot takey type guy. I just try to, what are they thinking? What's front office thinking? What is what are the players thinking, and try to bring
And
that perspective.
and that's not your lane, to be a hot take guy. That's not your lane. You leave that for the other people who want to have them hot takes. If you come on here and start dropping hot takes, we're gonna start questioning you because it's like, this is not correct. This is not how you do things. Now I understand maybe it's good to drop a hot take here and there. I definitely am for that, but overall that's not your lane. And again, you are the bridge between fans and players. You give a player's perspective, but you also can give a fan perspective. And that's called balance. And we need that in the 49ers fan base. Croc, whenever you ready to get that full-blown interview, that full-blown story where people can really know where you came from and how hard you had to fight, let me know. Or even if some, a major network have to pick it up and, do that interview
A
with you.
major
I'm
network.
ready to see.
That major
No, no,
network
no.
will probably be Twitter
Wait.
Spaces.
No. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't
All right.
don't laugh. Hey, look, do not laugh. It's a possible. Anything is possible in this world. People say maybe it's not. No, anything is possible in this world. And just the way you've been going, the way players talk to you, people talk to you, you like know this, bro. Like you probably would have laughed if somebody told you if you probably would have laughed if 3 years ago somebody told you you would be in this very moment. Would you have laughed?
Not sure I would have laughed, but I would have said I made some right moves to make that. Like
But
I
I
got
mean,
blessed along the way. So
exactly, yeah. So don't laugh. I mean, anything is possible, and I think the route you're going, a lot of people wouldn't be surprised if they see you, with the major network. I mean, they're gonna have to do some. They're gonna have to bring it to the table. But yeah, keep it up. And I just want to say shout out to Art Armstead. He doesn't get enough love. He got a lot of hate, but he don't get enough love. Man had 5 sacks. He had 3 sacks in the playoffs, and he had 3 tackles for losses, 5 QB hits. I wish he could have showed up in the Rams game, but overall, Art Armstead, and then if we even count his last 3 games, I don't even know how many sacks he told. Oh, his last 3 games, he had about total 6 sacks. So I'm really happy for him because he was getting a lot of hate. People kept saying things about him. I know maybe playing on the outside wasn't the best for him, but as soon as they moved Art Armstead on the inside, not only did the 49ers run defense improve, but him as a player improved, especially down the stretch when we needed him the most. This man was wreaking havoc. So maybe going into next year, that's actually I can end this off with a question. Croc, going into next year, do you think they will make him a full-time interior defensive lineman?
I think there's an avenue to doing that. I think that they should. I thought that was the point of trading away DeForest Buckner. I thought, I didn't think that there was any way that they go out and draft a guy like, Javon Kinlaw, play 3 tech. I thought that's what Armstead was going to do. And they went away from that. And I was surprised by that. We'll see if they try to right their wrong, but if I had to guess, I'd say he's not. Now, there's an avenue for it if they don't bring DJ Reed back. Right? If you don't bring DJ Reed back and you want to use Kinlaw as a tackle and have Armstead more as a full-time 3 tech, I think you could do it. I think you could do it, and that's the only way that they could make it happen.
I
Also,
just don't
though,
see
real quick, from a schematic standpoint, they like to run a lot of quarters, a lot of cover 4, and teams that want to run a lot of quarters, they want to be big on the end, and to be able, to be more stout against the run and outside runs that way, while having one less guy in the box. So if they, I don't know. I think they might. How much do they value that and being able to stop the run, having that big body on the outside? And if that is how they're looking at it, then we will see him back on the outside, at least for early downs. Now, one thing he's always done is in sub packages be more of an interior pass rusher. So I feel, it's not against the run, and it's kind of like them creating a hole.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. It just depends how they want to play that defense, that quarters.
Well, I would say this. I don't see how they can watch, last year, and especially seeing how he
Did I say
performed down the
DJ
stretch.
Reed? I meant DJ Jones. I'm looking
Yeah,
at the
you
comments
meant,
right
yeah,
now. My bad.
I said DJ Jones. I just don't see how they can watch and see what he did down the stretch. I mean, actually, not even down the stretch, but from the last 14 games, and see how they cannot play this guy on the inside. I understand the DJ Jones, I understand the Kinlaw, but Armstead was just a different dude. Like, our defense was different. I think they would value it because once we were able to really shut down the run, that it makes it easy when you make a team one dimensional. It makes it easier for the defense, especially for the pass rush. Why do we think the pass rush got so much better? In those last 11 games, because we were shutting teams down on the run, so we're making teams, pass the ball a bunch. So I don't know, man. I don't know how the Niners can watch this and say, yeah, we're just gonna put him back on the outside. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Armstead is a force of nature on the inside, and I hope the Niners make the right decision and playing him a lot there next year. He doesn't have to play there full time, but just I want to see him on the inside a lot next year, and that's only going to benefit our defense and benefit D'Amico Ryan. Shout out to D'Amico Ryan. All right, Croc, you have a blessed one.
All right.
Happy Tuesday. Hey.
Have a good one, bro. Here we go. We got Kenneth Goldsmith on. And Kenneth, I want to know, what do you think 49ers can get for Jimmy Garoppolo? Hold on real quick before you answer that. And I appreciate the contribution. My guy says, Steamy Garoppolo must go. Trade for the Bay must play. I like that little play on words. Congrats on the weekly show with Grant Cohn. Yeah, y'all, weekly every Thursday morning, coming at you live 9 a.m. Pacific time on the Grant Cohn show. Grant and I, we go over some topics and things like that pertaining to the 49ers. Tune into that. I like to think we balance each other out, because I'm not a hot takey type person at all. We know he's going to give takes. And then, we kind of come together and discuss why or why not with that. But Kenneth, I want to talk to you a little bit about Jimmy Garoppolo. And do you think trade talks go down at the combine?
Trade talks. I'm not so sure, because me personally, in my opinion, I still think we could get a second for Jimmy Garoppolo, because he's definitely been a solid starter, even though he's been inconsistent and haven't been available.
But hold on. That's two. Those are two. That's tough, right? Like you say, inconsistent and missing in action. That's how much do you okay, Kenneth, you are a manager at a job, or you own a business, right? And you have an employee who, when he shows up, he's good, but man, he misses so much time. I can't count on him. I can't rely on him. How valuable is that employee to you, and what are you willing to do to keep that employee around?
Oh man, he getting fired. So I'm not gonna keep him around.
So, but you just said you give up a second for Jimmy. And again, I'm not saying I wouldn't, or I'm saying I would. I'm just kind of using your logic there and trying to get you to kind of think about it from that standpoint.
I'm saying a second because the quarterback class is not that great. I mean, you can win some games with them until you get the quarterback that you want, but other than that, you ain't gonna get the second or third for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the second will be the max. The third should be at least.
Mortensen, was it Chris Mortensen? Chris Mortensen said that Jimmy Garoppolo's value is at a second round pick right now. So, I mean, excuse me, third. Excuse me, his value is at third. So I think you're right with that. I think teams ideally would be okay with, hey, if I got to give up a third for Jimmy, cool. And, one thing you got to, they got to rework his contract and things like that. So you got to take those things into consideration.
Yeah.
But, all right, third. Now, is there an opportunity for other teams to kind of maybe drive the price up a little bit and the 49ers eventually get a second or a third this year and a conditional second next year? Do you think something like that could happen?
Yeah, well, people like I heard people say some people bring in a conditional. It could be a conditional second depending on how much he played.
Yeah. Okay.
A conditional second depending on how much he played, but it mainly will be mostly a third, I believe. I just wanted to get on here and talk to you about I wanted to defend my comments about the Washington Commanders thing you kept bringing up.
Yeah.
Because did you have a chance to watch them? Because see, I'm in DC and I get to watch them every Sunday before the Niners come on.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of, like you said, Gibson, Thomas, McKissick, and McLaurin, they ain't really got much. And Jimmy Garoppolo is only going check down to intermediate over across the middle. He's not going like keep most defenses honest. And when they play against Philly, Dallas, and New York, they struggle. They don't really play well against teams in their division. So him going to Commanders, that would be a bad look for him. But if they willing to give up a first, I wouldn't mind them give up a first. But in defense to him, that's not a good place for him to go if he's going to be successful.
Okay.
Moving on in his future.
All right. I see. Okay. I hear you.
I'm
So,
telling you,
so what do you, but real quick before you get out of here, where do you think he will be successful?
I think he'll be successful at damn.
There's got to be a team. There's got to be a team that needs a quarterback where you think he'll be.
Well, if because I'm hearing Buccaneers is in the equation. Out of all them teams, I say the Buccaneers.
Okay.
That's if the Buccaneers was interested in them. But other than that, I don't see too many other spots where he'll be successful with teams that throw the ball. You know what I mean? That's throwing the ball over the field.
All right, I hear you. All right, Kendon, I'm gonna get you off and get the last caller on.
All right, man. Hey, one other thing, man. I caught your story time that you did this weekend, man. That was a great story, man. Like, keep doing your thing, Croc.
I appreciate that.
All right, no problem, man.
All right. What Kenneth is talking about, I told a story about how I kind of lied my way onto the Jets. I had a very interesting situation the day that I was supposed to fly out to Jersey for my workout with the Jets. That was the next day. And I told everything about kind of leading up to that and how I got the Jets to move my flight back and how if they would have known the truth as to why I needed to get my flight moved back, they probably wouldn't have flown me out. So that's what he's talking about. And I kind of lied to get them to push the Jets to push my flight back. So yeah, it's in one of my recent videos. Y'all check that out. It shows my picture of me in the Jets get up. But here we go. I got the last caller coming on. All right. And appreciate everybody that's in here. We got over 300 of y'all in here. Listen, I thought numbers would really kind of like tail off. It's the off season, but I guess with the 49ers, there is no off season. All right. Everybody's in here still locked in, tuned in. I appreciate that. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got my guy J Law coming on. J Law, good morning, bro.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday there, Crocky.
Man, happy Tuesday. Yes, sir.
Another blessed day. I just kind of wanted to call in and get your perspective and take on a couple of thoughts I was having the last couple of days. And I think to kind of expound on what you guys were talking about just a moment ago about where Jimmy G is going to go, I think two of the best potential landing places for Jimmy G are the Steelers and the Broncos. If you look at their current setups of those two teams comparatively to the Niners, the way that their ground game is set up and the way that their potential air yards are set up, it's a very similar system. So I think Jimmy would be extremely successful in one of those two systems. And I think what a lot of people are not taking into consideration right now is the fact that the chances of Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson actually leaving their teams are very, very minimal. So you have maybe two viable quarterbacks that are like legitimate trendsetters, top of the line, top 5 quarterbacks that are going to be available. You got Deshaun Watson, and it's starting to look like maybe Kyler Murray, but I don't put very much stock in that either. I'm pretty sure he's going to end up staying with the Cardinals, and I feel like they'd be dumb to let him go. But I think people are discounting how much the league really respects Jimmy Garoppolo as a player and as a person. When you listen to a lot of the other podcasters around the NFL talking about their teams and stuff like that, the Steelers have mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo multiple times, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've already talked to the Niners. And then with that update that came out yesterday, talking about how Washington has already checked in on every potential possible quarterback that's available right now. So, they called about Jimmy Garoppolo. Would Washington be a decent fit? Yeah. But I agree with the last caller when he was talking about how the Commanders don't always do very well against their own conference. They generally end up, for lack of a better term, wetting the bed in their own conference. So I think out of the potential teams where Jimmy could end up going, Washington is probably my third best fit personally. I don't think that Arians is going to try to go out and get Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy just doesn't fit the Arians team. Arians likes to drop bombs and go deep down the field and do all these things, and Jimmy just isn't. That's not his game. Now, if he can drop a dime every once in a while, but it's going to be a dime that you're like, damn, I didn't know he could even make that throw. And then you'll never see it.
I got to push back a little bit. No, I agree. You're not wrong with saying that. I think most people will tell you Jimmy Garoppolo is not a good deep ball thrower, right? Now, I don't know if it's so much that he's not a good deep ball thrower or if he just doesn't have the confidence to just let it rip. Because I've seen plenty of times where he has thrown it deep, where when he's comfortable and he just lets it rip, it looks good, right? But I think Kyle Shanahan micromanages his quarterbacks to the point that they are so afraid to be off on anything. And when you play like that as a quarterback, especially trying to throw the ball down the field, I don't think you're going to play with your best. You're not going to be as accurate, right? Like throwing the ball down the field, it's really just with confidence, understanding that, hey, I'm going to put the ball in the right spot and my player is going to make a play for me. It typically, more times than not, it's not just like this perfect deep ball throw. It's actually the lowest percentage throw that a quarterback can attempt. All right. But I think a lot of it has to do with confidence. And do you think that somebody like Bruce Arians will instill more confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo? Say, listen, Jameis Winston threw goddamn 30 interceptions in the season. I don't care if you throw an interception attempting the ball down the field. Just let it rip. Let it rip. And if they do that and they force him to throw the ball down the field, do you think we might see a better deep ball thrower in Jimmy Garoppolo? Because I think Kirk Cousins, I had a crossover with some Vikings people, and we had that conversation. And they were saying the head coach had to tell Cousins, throw the ball downfield. He didn't want to. He wanted to check everything down He wanted to be efficient. We've seen Kirk Cousins have like the 70% completion percentage. No, I don't care about that. Throw it downfield. Let it rip. And when you start doing that, you start seeing them drop bombs to Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And now it's like, oh, Cousins has a good deep ball. He throws the ball. But I think a lot of it comes with confidence. So do you think that there's a scenario where Bruce Arians is like, I think there's a little bit more to Jimmy. I'm going to get him to throw the ball downfield and instill confidence in that way. Do you think that could be it? Or you think, nope, he just won't ever be a good downfield thrower?
I think you bring up a really good point, and maybe that was me kind of looking at it with my 49ers blinders on. Like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo can't be any better with any other team. He was the best he's ever going to be on the Niners. But when you bring up the fact, you're 100% correct, that the deep balls, when you look at how the quarterbacks handle that situation when they are throwing them, it's confidence. And I think you bring up an extremely valid point there with Bruce Arians potentially bringing out a side of Jimmy Garoppolo that we didn't know existed because Shanahan handcuffed him to the specific scheme and scenario he wanted him to run in San Francisco. So thinking of it that way, if you open up the potentiality that Jimmy Garoppolo can be better than he was, yeah, I think Bruce Arians and the Bucs are a really good fit then, because Bruce Arians has already proved he can get a team somewhere. You know, whether he's got a viable quarterback or not, he can get it somewhere with the rest of his team, which is a great scenario for Jimmy Garoppolo, who has basically been part of the entourage, the trailer that's being pulled, and every once in a while he'll get in a cab and drive the truck. But the majority of the time, he's along for the ride with the Niners. You know, again, I'm going to reference back to your other caller. He was bringing up all of our offensive Pro Bowlers. We had a stacked offense, and it's pretty sad that we couldn't put up more points than we did in the playoffs. And the handicap that was coming from that was the lack of athleticism under the center. And Jimmy Garoppolo helped get us there. He was part of the reason we were in the championship and why we made it to the NFC championship game. He played his part, not discounting that. But he did not help us with it, which is a problem once you get to the point. You need a player like Debo who's going to, all right, I'm going to put this on my back and we're going to win because I want to win. I want our team to win. Give me the ball. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it happen. I think Jimmy had moments where he was that gunslinger, where he had that mentality, like, I'm going to do whatever I can to help my team win. And I think, let me rephrase that. I think he always had that mentality, but I don't think his physical gifts allowed him to live up to that mentality. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And again, I really think you brought up a great point about Bruce Arians potentially boosting his confidence and giving him another aspect to his game. I think a lot of the problems with, and why there's so much conversation about the quarterback, you know, who's getting picked up by what team and everything like that this year, is because there were multiple teams last year that went out and got quarterbacks who are in the similar range of Jimmy Garoppolo, Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold's a little bit further down the road, but you get what I'm saying. They went out and spent draft capital for similar type quarterbacks, and it bit all of those teams in the ass. So I think that scenario is leading to a gun-shy scenario for a lot of the teams that need quarterbacks this year, because they sat here and watched the Colts and the Panthers go out and give up first and second rounds for good quarterbacks. And where were the Colts and the Panthers at the end of the season? They were sitting at home watching the playoffs. So you have these teams that are playoff hungry, whose rosters are built to be playoff teams, and their only thing they really need is a confident quarterback. And what's one of the main things you've heard around the league for the last year? Jimmy's only so-so. Jimmy's okay. The Niners only got the playoffs because of the rest of the team, not because of Jimmy Garoppolo. So there's a lot of those aspects, and the teams are looking at all of that, thinking, do I really want to get into a Panthers or Colts scenario? So you're going to end up seeing the hungriest teams that are ready to win now, like the Broncos, like the Steelers, and like the Bucks, who have a go-ready team now. They can go to the playoffs. You're going to see those teams making bids for Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think it will be at least a second-round pick, because Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Sam Darnold. And Jimmy Garoppolo helped take a team to the playoffs, whereas Carson Wentz did not. So I think that, on top of the controversy that Jimmy Garoppolo dealt with and handled like a pro, like, let's be real, that guy handled a lot of controversy the last few years. And he was like very, very professional. He was open to the media. He didn't say anything negative about the team. He didn't say anything negative about any of the other players. He handled it with poise, like a professional. And that is worth at least a third to second round pick. Just that. Being able to be a professional quarterback, one of the most important positions in professional sports, to handle yourself with that type of composure, and then be a leader on the field on top of it too, that speaks volumes. And that's why you're going to end up seeing Jimmy G go for a second round, maybe a second round with conditional first next season. These third and fourth round picks, like that, I feel like that's a slap in the face to what Jimmy Garoppolo has actually been able to do for the 49ers franchise. Like, do people remember where we were at in 2017 as a 49ers franchise? Man, I've been a Niners fan my whole life. And 2012 to 2017, not fun years at all. Like, I had a really hard time supporting the team because of all the nonsense that was going on. They couldn't get anything put together.
Right.
The coaching was atrocious. The general managers were atrocious. You had people farting on live television. Like, what the is going on? And then we got Jimmy Garoppolo. And within 5 freaking games, holy shit, who are the Niners?
You also have to remember, too, earlier that year, and I'm going to get you off now, J-Law. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
I appreciate you having me on, Rocky.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have to remember that year, and I think it kind of, a lot of people forget about this, but the 49ers had 5 straight games where they lost by 3 or less points. So although Jimmy Garoppolo was like, he came in and he was good enough to get them over the hump to win those games, they were close to being a team that could win games. But they were trying to do it with backup level quarterbacks, which I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is that. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a starting level quarterback. And I think him just being that, and I don't want to take away from anything else that I did, but I do think him being a starting level quarterback is what got the 49ers to win games at the tail end of the season. Again, early in that year, 5 straight losses by 3 or less points. They were really close. I have a couple of comments that I starred and wanted to kind of get to. Here's a first one. I've never seen Jimmy hit a receiver in stride 30 yards, past 30 yards. And he has, but the fact that I can think of all the times in my head over 4 or 5 years or however long it was with the 49ers, I think that's an issue. He has done it, but it's like I can think of all the times, and that's not ideal. And maybe it wasn't exactly 30 yards. Maybe it was 25 yards or whatever, but he's done it, but not much. And then I got my guy, Symmetry 7. had a ton of comments here on the micromanagement of Kyle Shanahan and his thoughts, and I'll read through them, and then after I'll come back and kind of just give my thoughts. Or, you can always come on, man. We can have a conversation. I'll hold off on ending this a little bit longer. But my guy Symmetry 7, shout out to him. I always enjoy having him in the comments. I heard a comment that Kyle likes to micromanage, and I don't agree. I think he's one of the more flexible coaches and knows what it takes to be consistent, and that's just the standard he sets. All right. And it was me that said he was like a bit of a micromanager. So I'll kind of give my thoughts on that. So that was the first one. Also, if you are a head coach, your job is almost demanded that you micromanage to an extent. There's that one. Here we go. There's no proof that he's a micromanager. That's pure speculation because he doesn't play the players that the fans want. That's a question. And the last one, what has Kyle said or done to show you he's a micromanager? I'm genuinely curious. All right, so I'm going to comment because I know I said that. I kind of used that word. All right. Dang, I lost it. Hold on, let me find. Here we go, so I can put it down. So my thoughts on Kyle Shanahan and me throwing out the word or term micromanager, it stems from him. I think ideally, right? Ideally, we all want things done a certain way, right? In your head, Symmetry 7 or anyone in this chat, my guy Big Head, Bigfoot Mom, all right, we all want things done a very specific way, and we believe in that way. One thing that really jumps out is in the article. It was either Shanahan or someone from his staff said, the system makes the quarterback. The quarterback does not make the system. And I don't think that a quarterback has to make the system, right? Like, you don't want to have to rely on your quarterback to make you good. I think Kyle Shanahan definitely does a good enough job of putting guys in position to win. I think the kind of micromanager kind of standpoint comes from when players aren't exactly how he wants. And if they're not doing exactly to a T, which I agree, we all want things run a certain way because we know, hey, if you run it this way, it could be successful. I think there could be a little bit more flexibility with understanding that even if it's not to a T exactly how I feel like it should be done, well, damn, man, it won. That way it worked, right? I think that football and sports and stuff should be covered a certain way, right? Like I want a good conversation. I want healthy takes. And there are some people that put out hot takes and they do different things. But if it's working for them, well, okay, that's just a different way. And maybe I won't do it that way, but damn, that does work for them, right? And when you look at Kyle Shanahan, the micromanager part really comes from him saying, and it sticks to my head, and I talked about it earlier today, but when he said, if I had somebody else to play over Brandon Ayuk, I would not have played him. And to me, that was it was like a wild statement. And we're talking about Brandon Ayuk as a rookie, and then kind of what Brandon Ayuk went through this year, but to me, it was a wild statement in the sense of like Ayuk maybe you're not getting the 100% reaction the way you want. Right? Or maybe he's not doing it exactly how you see fit. So instead of working with him on that, and maybe they have, I don't know how much they have or haven't or whatever, but instead of continuing to encourage him to work towards that goal, you resorted to just saying, I wouldn't have played him. And I thought that was wild. For someone that had the success that he had as a rookie. Like he came in and he played well to the point where most people were like, man, Brandon Ayuk, he's going to be wide receiver 1 next year. Now, if you watch this show or some shows prior, I was saying Deebo Samuel, that's the fantasy guy. That's who you should get for the 49ers. People didn't want to hear me. They thought I was crazy. But anyways, I put those tweets out too. I was like, Deebo. People were like, heck no, Deebo. What? Blah, 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 blah. All right. But anyways, Kyle, he wants everything done a very specific way. And when you do it that way, and when you get it to that point, it's magical. I think the bigger issue is that until you get to that point, he don't want to play you. He doesn't, and until you get to that point and you're able to play to that level of his standards, which is awesome. But with your young guys coming in and your rookies or whatever, if you can't do it to that standard, let alone work your way to it, he don't want to play you. Like for him, even with the Ambry Thomas thing, when he was like, man, to see where Ambry Thomas was when he started to where he's at now, like, I'm shocked. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, you expect these rookies to come in right away, and I get it. The expectations are really high. But, man, I think it's really hard. I think that's hard on guys coming into the league. And what it does is some of these guys' psyche, and we've seen it. And we've seen guys have a certain level of success as young players. And to know, like, you want to get it to his standard, but I think he has a hard time with just the process of these young guys. I think that's it. That's a better way to put it. Kyle, I think he struggles with the process of rookies and the learning curve. And he wants somebody to come in right now, do the things I want you to do. And if you can come in and do it, then you're awesome. Fred Warner was able to step in and do it to a T the exact way Kyle wanted. So Fred, you're on the field. And by the way, you get the green dot. And Fred was able to handle that. Trey Sermon. I saw you run for 100 or almost 100 against Seattle, but I ain't like this. So you're back to the bench. You get one carry in the next game. That's tough. That is tough. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. So again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I think Kyle has gotten a lot of success when things are done the way that he wants. But I do think there's a sense of micromanagement. Again, Trey Sermon, use him as an example. And I mean, there's a bunch of other guys. And a lot of times they're young. They're young guys. And there's nothing wrong with having high standards and expectations for your young guys. But when you push it so much to where they start to lose confidence and revert and go backwards, I think that's where it's like, we heard the reports of Trey Lance, right? We saw it, we heard it. I listened to guys like Mayoko. I listened to him all offseason rave about Mac Jones and what Mac Jones could be as a passer and all this and how he fits perfect into their offense. And he very well would have probably, right? And, Trey Lance, he's so raw. He's so green. Trey Lance has to, it's going to take time. And then he saw Trey Lance and he was like, best rookie quarterback I've seen with the 49ers, best quarterback I've seen come in. Like, oh my goodness, wasn't expecting this. They got something with this kid, only for Kyle to be like, nope, not good enough. You know what I'm saying? And what does that do for a guy? What does that do for a guy trying to work to compete and stuff in a competition that was never a competition, but it was, but it wasn't? We'll talk more about that. All right, we'll talk more about that. I appreciate everybody that's tuned in today. Shout out to, here we go. Okay, hold on. Not going to do my spiel yet. I think Kyle prefers mentally tough players, and that's not always common these days. So it appears he's picky, but he just likes to stay. And again, and I get it, but I coach, right? I coach high school football, and these kids are different. If I could, I would have every kid have the mindset of Eric Crocker. Every kid just be tough, especially guys that are more talented than me. Like, damn, dude, you're way more physically gifted than I was when I was your age. Way better than I was when I was your age. But can you get some dog in you? I would love everyone to have the same mindset as I have. I would love it. But the reality of it is that's not going to be the case. So how do I still get the most out of this player, even though he's maybe not as mentally tough as I would like? And I listened to a lot of Andy Frisella. And Andy Frisella talked about how being mentally tough, that's something that you learn. Like, we all come out the same way. We all come out and we got to learn and stuff like that. And along the way, you learn how to either be more mentally tough and stuff like that. But how do you train that? Especially maybe you haven't gone through certain things to really push that. And I think from that standpoint, Kyle, maybe he has to teach these guys and maybe they don't react away or whatever. But I coach kids. And it's different. NFL, there's millions of dollars involved. These guys making a lot of money. Just do your fucking job. I get it. But if I invested a lot in you, I need to do the things to where, hell, I can get you to eventually be mentally tough, but how do I get you by right now while still pushing those standards, but still giving you the confidence that we're heading in the right direction? Croc, do you think Kyle is a stickler with receivers because he didn't make bro as one? Like he gets upset when people have the physical talent, won't put in the work to be great. 415, no 209, man. Appreciate the contribution. I don't think it has anything to do with him not making it as a pro. I think truly understanding. I think a lot of these guys, and again, these dudes are young, right? We're talking about guys coming in 21 years old, 22 years old, unless you're Deebo Samuel, came in at 24 years old. But these guys are coming in pretty young and getting them to understand and handle things in a mature way as they're making good money. I think that's the hard part for them. And how do you go about getting them to truly understand what it takes? And while going through that process, do you just say, you know what? You're not getting it right now, so just sit over there to the side. Or, you're not getting it right now, but damn, I have no other choice but to play you. But if I had somebody else, I would not play you. Man, what does that do to a kid that's trying to figure it out? He just doesn't know. And I'm not saying Kyle Shanahan has to be babysitter, but it's just tough. And I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. Clearly, 49ers, 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl appearance in the last 3 years. So he's doing things, he's going about it the right way, but is he maximizing all of the young players that are extremely talented? And is he getting the most out of some of those guys? Or are they flaming away because they can't do it exactly how Kyle wants them to do it right now? That's the question. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I think he wants to bring out the best in his players as receivers, and I get that. But is there only one way to bring out the best in the young players? I think that's the question. Appreciate everybody that's tuned in, man. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you like this show. Still tuned in. We've had over 300 plus people most of this time. I appreciate all of that. I love and appreciate every single one of you. Hey, let's go out and be great today. Let's go out and be great. Whatever it is that you aspire to do, whatever it is that you aspire to be, today's the day. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't put it off to tomorrow. Go be great today. I love y'all. I'm out. Peace.